We'll be talking about fighting productivity shame as brought to you by the UCSC EOP programs, and we'll be recording the event, and it looks like it's recording right now, so we'll be able to like send that out to everyone after sending it out to everyone after the event in the coming days. Just for a really quick agenda, we're just going to have a quick group check-in. We're going to introduce the EOP programs, and we're going to discuss about productivity shame and revenge bedtime procrastination. And we're going to have a discussion, a Padlet activity, and a design your life worksheet that I wanted to share with everyone. And then we're going to do a raffle at the end, so we're really excited for that piece.
Hi everyone. So first we're going to start out with some intros. Feel free to share or not. You're not required to, but I'll go first. My name is Brianna Madrano. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a wellness program intern. I'm a fourth year psychology major, and a hobby that brings me passion is maybe more like artsy stuff like drawing and painting.
And I will go next. So my name is Lorena. I am Lorena Hernandez. I am a peer advisor with EOP. My pronouns are she, hers. I'm a third year majoring in Latin American and Latino studies and sociology. And I'm hoping to pick up an education minor. And a hobby that brings me passion. I just started to learn how to roller skate. And if anyone out there is like interested or you're thinking about it, just I'd say go for it. It like seriously lighted my fire for a while because it's like something new and exciting. And feel free to leave your group intros in the chat. We can do like popcorn style if anyone's comfortable with that. So I will call on. I'll call on Yesenia.
Hi everyone, my name is Yesenia. My pronouns are she, they. I'm a fourth year majoring in psychology and sociology combined with LALS, and I'm graduating this quarter. Super excited. A hobby that brings me passion would have to be listening to podcasts. I feel like it's a nice activity that gives me sort of like, it's kind of like watching TV, but not watching TV, So it gives me time away from the screen, and it entertains me and it educates me. So highly recommend. Like Spotify has some great podcasts. I recommend the Self-Love Fix and Envisioning Queer Justice. Should I popcorn?
Yeah, go for it if you'd like.
Okay. I'll popcorn to Diana.
Thanks, Yesenia. Hi, everyone. I'm Diana. I'm a fifth year computer science major, and a hobby that brings me passion right now is journaling. I used to like stress out over it just because like I thought it had to be perfect somehow, but lately I've just been writing whatever the hell I want. Like, it's like I can write a to-do list, or I can like write about my feelings, or like, yeah, just anything. It really makes me happy.
I have one too.
Sorry, forgot to popcorn. I'll go with Jenny.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny. I'm a third year ecology and evolution major, and a hobby that brings me passion is I like to play chess a lot.
Nice.
And I'll popcorn Bianca.
Hey y'all, my name is Bianca. I am a third year transfer student. My major is English literature with the LALS minor. And I'm a total nerd and I like reading like YA novels. And I will go ahead and popcorn to Lisbeth.
Thank you, Bianca. Hi, everyone. I'm Liz, and I'm a third year majoring in psychology and sociology with a minor in education. And a hobby that really brings me passion is just dancing. I really enjoy it, specifically like Zumba. It's a really great exercise. I definitely recommend it. But yeah, just dancing. And I'll popcorn it to Zoe.
Hi everyone, I'm Zoe. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a first year proposed history major, and a hobby that brings me passion, I guess, would be reading fantasy and YA novels. Those really are amazing.
Feel that.
And I'll popcorn to Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a first year intensive psych major, and I also want to minor in theater. And I'm really passionate about like ukulele playing, and I've kind of fallen off of it, so I want to get back onto it. And I've also been learning to cook, so those have been really fun for me. And I'll pass it to Christy.
Hello, my name is Christy. I am a fourth year computer science major and a TIM minor. I think following, I like cooking too. That's a hobby that brings me passion. And I'll popcorn to Sam.
Hey guys, my name is Sam. I'm a second year. My major is literature at the moment, and a hobby that brings me passion is I love playing guitar and piano and all these different instruments. So, yeah, that's been something bringing me a lot of joy recently. Has Catherine gone yet? Catherine, hopefully.
Okay, they inserted their response in the chat, and I can call on. Actually, Brianna, if you could help me, it looks like people's names aren't popping up with the picture for some reason on my end, but.
Sure. Let's see. Dorsa, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Dorsa. I'm a second year politics major, and a hobby that brings me passion right now is baking. And I'll pass it to Ganit.
Hi, I'm Ganit. I'm a second year intensive psychology and legal studies double major. And a hobby that has brought me passion recently is probably writing and journaling as well. And I will pass it. Has everyone gone? I'm not sure.
Oh, I think Enid hasn't gone.
My name is Enid Terablanca, and I'm a first year. My major is computer science, and a hobby that brings me passion is reading graphic novels.
Thank you for sharing. Hello, Melanie. We were just going through some group intros. If you'd like to insert it in the chat or out loud, feel free. And I believe everyone went, hopefully. All right, cool. Welcome. Alrighty, we will go on to introducing the EOP programs, and thank you everyone for sharing out. Really appreciate it. So a really quick recap for the EOP programs at UC Santa Cruz. We are a program that hosts a myriad of programs and resources to support and improve the retention of first generation, low income, and educationally disadvantaged students with academic and personal support. We are able to offer this academic and personal support to our student community through drop-in with various subunits within the overall program. So first, we have the EOP peer advisor leaders, myself and Yesenia in the crowd. We offer drop-in for students for services that I'll get into in a later slide. We offer programs, drop-in for the undocumented student services via an intake form that I will make sure to get into like the link in the chat for you all. We also have drop-in for the graduate information program here at UC Santa Cruz. If anyone here is like, oh, grad school, I want to learn about it, but I don't know how to get started, reach out to them. They'll help you like from step one to like however far you want to get to with that. And the STEM Hub, highly recommend. They offer peer advising for STEM students at Santa Cruz and to give you the help that you need and you deserve for like your STEM classes. And then the EOP academic counselors, um, Monday to Thursday, 2 to 5 p.m. And to reach out to them, you reach out to the EOP at ucsc.edu email account, and we'll make sure to get you all of these resources and forms in a follow-up email following the presentation. And a quick shout out to the EOP peer advisor leaders. We have our hours in this blue flyer, and you can meet us, or like our pictures in the orange flyer. And we are current undergraduate students that provide academic, career, and social support to EOP students. We host a lot of different programs and services. We are in charge of the Instagram page for UCSC EOP. We publish the EOP Spotlight newsletter to share events to our community. We provide CalFresh letters if anyone is in need of one. Reach out to us and we'll write you one to use in your application. We provide workshops and events, and we host drop-in. And we host drop-in Monday to Friday. I will make sure to send that link in the chat if anyone is interested in signing up for a meeting with us. Can't really access the chat right now, but that'll be coming soon. And I wanted to give a shout out to an event we will be having tomorrow called EOP Table Talk. We decided to host a series of events for all of spring quarter for ways to take the most out of your quarter. And tomorrow we will be talking about self-care during midterms with our pal Thais. So we're really excited about that. And if you're interested in attending, feel free to put your UCSC email in the chat. That way we can add you to a Google Calendar invitation and you'll get the time and Zoom meeting from there. A quick shout out for that.
And next, I'm going to talk a little bit about the wellness program. So who we are, the goal of our program is to promote physical activity, encourage health and wellness, and build community. We offer assistance to students to pay for athletic and recreational-based activities hosted by the UCSC Recreation Department. And what do we do? The EOP Wellness Program is designed to help EOP students alleviate costs associated with participating in intramural and club sports, as well as recreational activities such as camping trips. We also host events and workshops to promote health, well-being, and self-care. And you can contact us with any questions or concerns at eopwhelm@ucsc.edu. And these are some of our upcoming events. Tomorrow we have our Killing Gremlins, Finding Inner Peace in a World of Chaos event, as well as on the 13th, a Relaxation 101 event. Both are hosted by Ryan Cannon Scott, and I'll post the registration link in the chat. Ryan also does individual student coaching.
Oh yeah, I highly recommend that. Sorry, I highly recommend that resource. The individual student coaching is like really awesome, and it's there for y'all to use. And so now getting into the topic of the presentation, we're going to be talking about productivity shame, helping everyone put a name to this feeling that I'm sure a lot of us feel like day to day. It feels like, can I even escape this feeling? So a quick definition: productivity shame is the feeling that stops you from feeling like you've ever done enough. It's when you feel guilty for watching TV or walking the dog, or even taking a little break when you feel like you could be doing something more productive, whether that be with school, work, studying, or just like life improvement. That like nagging feeling at the back of your head, like, oh my gosh, I need to be doing something right now. If I don't, then what's up with that? And let me get the next slide. So recognizing productivity shame, just recognize like it's okay to feel the pressures to be doing the most 24/7. It's also okay to like act on it, but it's also like super okay to ask for breaks, ask for help, ask for time off to care for your own mental state. Like it's totally okay to live in a superhero mindset that you want to do it all, but it's really important to put yourself first as like a person, as a human, as a student, and like reclaim that time that you're putting into feeling like shame for not doing enough. And this feeling is like, but when one is struggling to get proper meals in the day, or when you are missing sleep, or you feel like you're losing a grasp on your responsibilities, this is when productivity shame has crept into our daily functioning. And now that we have put a name to it and we can identify these feelings, we're going to talk about how else it like manifests in our lives and how we can help give you like advice on how to overcome it. And so just a quick question, feel free to, like unmute or just put it in the chat. But what are some ways that you see productivity shame in your life, whether that be like as a student or in your work life? We'll give you a couple like seconds, no pressure though. We just wanted to like see how everyone was feeling. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Bianca. Working extra hours after work if an assignment takes longer to complete. Totally been there. So, just thinking about it. For our next slide, learning how to define this feeling in our own lives. So, this feeling also comes when all the boundaries between work, like school, life, studying, or just like excelling, and like all of that blurs, and it feels like every minute of the day is up for grabs and should be spent productively. And it's that feeling when, like, at the end of the day, you feel like you were constantly busy and didn't have a moment to breathe. But then when you're done with the day, it feels like you have nothing to show for it. And that's when, like, productivity shame kicks in. And it also comes from setting unrealistic goals and schedules for yourself. And then when you beat yourself up for failing to meet them, it's like, it's normal to feel this way. And we just want to help address it and, like, call it out. And additionally, this feeling can come when you link your self worth to your achievements. I myself have fallen into this where it's like, it's like, oh, if I don't do this, then that is going to reflect who I am as a person, but that is totally not the case. It also happens when you set unrealistic goals for yourself and when you're stuck in a false belief that everyone is doing more than you are. And thank you for all of your additions in the chat. I feel like it's really nice to just like, vent it out and put it out there, like these feelings that we feel every day, like totally normal and totally valid. And a little more about this is that feeling when like things don't go as planned and you feel like you've only made a little bit of progress, but nothing like you had hoped. And sometimes we just feel this deep shame, like, oh, I could be better, I could be doing more. And I feel like I didn't do enough. And then you think of all the things you could have done, like, oh, I could have started, like, I could have studied for another hour, I could have finished that assignment early, I could have, like, started this essay. And when you, like, get yourself in this state of mind and you're like, oh my God, there's so much more I could have done, you start to think, like, I'm never going to hit my goals or live up to my expectations. And this is when we get caught up in the spiral of, like, productivity shame. And it's like totally okay to feel like this, and we're really happy that we can like talk about it with you all. And just like a little bit of words of advice, for myself and my own experiences, like how to stray away from these feelings of shame. I believe it can be all about finding the right balance, like allowing yourself to take time off and like forgiving yourself for like feeling these things. So, like if you're able, I know it's not realistic for every student because we all have different work schedules, like commitments and obligations with like family or responsibilities for work outside of being a student. But, like let yourself sleep in a little, take that night off from studying. Like, like studying until 1 or 2 a.m. can be really important when it's like, midterms or finals week. But, just like allow yourself to be like, I need to take this night off for me. Like, let me sleep early. I can deal with this in the morning, like things like that. Take time for yourself to enjoy your time as a student. I know that some of us may have, positions in internships or like jobs or different research or academic programs that we may have worked really hard to get into. And it's okay to, take time for yourself to enjoy your time as a student in these positions. Like, you work hard and you're here now. So, like, if it's realistic, if it's possible, like, taking the time for yourself to just, like, slow down and enjoy your time as a student if you can. And next, talking about how to overcome these feelings. I feel like this one really resonated with me. Number one was like, disconnect your self-worth from your productivity. Like, disconnect yourself from output. I feel like when you start to think of who you are as a person, as a student, it's like, I'm only a good student if I can get A's, or I'm only a good student if I'm constantly producing work. So this comes with like understanding your personal definition of enough, disconnecting your personal identity from like your to-do list that's never going to stop growing. Like, it's always going to be there, and just like removing that from like your mind, body, spirit, and just like, I am more than my productivity. I think that is really important too. And then not goal. Point number two, setting effective and realistic goals. This, I know it's like more easier said than done, but setting these realistic goals can help you easily achieve, to reinforce your sense of productivity and achievement, to kind of like reword it and reclaim it in a way that will make you feel good. So thinking about what you want to achieve, how you're gonna do that, and why you want to do it. There's also this tip. I'm gonna look it up because I feel like the acronyms like leave me sometimes, but it's called SMART goals. And if anyone has heard of it, it's an acronym that a goal needs to be specific, like pinpointed down to exactly what you want. Make sure that it's like measurable, that you can achieve it within, like you can measure it. Make sure that it's attainable for yourself and for your abilities. Making sure that it's relevant and time based, so that it's like a never ending goal that it feels like you can never reach. Just like setting it and achieving it. And number three, appreciating the progress more than the achievement. Kind of thinking about that quote that goes like, the journey is the destination, or something like that. Try to see and like reframe your mind to see consistent progress as more important than the end goal. Small and incremental progress day after day can add up to big achievements. Like, we see this in the ways that maybe we put in an hour a day to working on a big essay or studying for a final exam. Like, each little time or hour that you spend beforehand will, like culminate to like the end goal with like the paper, the final. So that can help us feel maybe a little more in control. And then number four is, I feel like in our society, and especially with like remote learning and needing to do the most during a worldwide pandemic, we like treat productivity like a badge of honor, where like the more productive we are, sorry, but in the case like the more productive that we are, the more work we want to take on, and then we end up repeating the cycle again and again. And just reminding yourself that like, I might never be 100% productive, but that's okay. I need to disconnect my worth from my productivity and my achievements. And I know this is easier said than done. Maybe it's just like, taking it day by day to really get to that point. I'm totally not there yet, but sometimes this is really important to remind myself like, okay, I'm more than my grades, I'm more than my productivity, I'm a real person too. And that like helps me like calm down for a bit and like feel a little more in control. And so I see that we have some discussion going on in the chat, and I agree. I feel like the UCSC standards with like the quarter system are just like, it hasn't relaxed even though we are in a whole like pandemic. But thank you all for chatting with each other in the chat. And we just wanted to ask, like, what are some tips that you like, or what are some tips that you would like to use soon? You can go ahead and insert this in the chat. We will also be having a little like interactive activity where if you have like an answer for this now, you can like wait until we get to that activity if you'd like to share it anonymously. But yeah, I'll just give it a couple seconds. Yeah, the SMART goals. I'm glad that helped you, Bianca. I'm sure that there's a lot of different like resources about that. We can share out. We had a table talk presentation, I believe, 2 weeks ago, where one of our team members shared about goal settings and vision boards, where we talked about SMART goals. So we can send that to you all when we follow up with the event. And thank you, Melanie, for sharing about affirmations. I think that's so important because I feel like I didn't start using affirmations until I started working with EOP, and I feel like we always share about like affirmations and give yourself your own like sense of improvement and like belief, you know. Yeah, and that we are living through a pandemic. Like, thank you for sharing, everyone.
Would you like to share, Yesenia? I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everyone that it's okay to say no to stuff. This is something I think I struggle with, taking on too much, especially when it comes to like work and internships or just like even opportunities that are offered to me. It's okay to say no.
Yeah, thank you for that. I feel like that's something that I personally don't think about when it comes for academics, because we're always told like say yes to everything, like take it on, but in reality, like we can say no. So thank you for highlighting that. Yeah, thank you everyone for sharing. Now, just wanted to give some words of advice. So one of the things I saw in an article, I feel like maybe not the best, but like being confident and decisive with the way that you use your time. I feel like this comes with practice and just different kind of life experiences that people go through, where you know, like be confident and decisive with the way you use your time and learning how to disconnect at the end of the workday. I feel like I struggle with this, especially where like, you know, we're studying remotely. I'm like at work, but I'm here in my own bedroom, where it feels like there's that separation that just doesn't exist. Like having to, you know, live back home during like this time of COVID and like remote settings. So just recognizing that it's not your fault. Like this is the way that things have to be sometimes. And yeah, Sarah, like all of life domains are combined at home. Like this is where I do my homework. This is where I study. It's also where I have work and meetings and like, you know, FaceTime calls with friends like here, and like my bed is like literally 2 feet away. So it's like, where's the separation that I need? And you know, like recognizing like, yeah, this is what is going on and it might suck, but like, you know, just like detaching and trying to like relax at the end of the day, which will lead us into the next topic of the presentation right here.
Yeah, so next we kind of wanted to talk about something that's a product really of productivity shame, which is revenge bedtime procrastination. So what is revenge bedtime procrastination? It's deciding to sacrifice sleep or putting off sleep at a reasonable time in order to make up for a lack of free time during the day. With busy schedules driven with multiple obligations and tasks, we often lack time for leisure. This lack of leisure time often causes us to use time just before bed for entertainment and self-care. However, it also causes us to lose sleep. The idea of bedtime procrastination is thought to be quote unquote revenge on the workday in which we may not have time to do the things we want to do. So essentially, we may be getting back at our productivity during the day by creating more free time at night. And this is definitely something that I've experienced a lot, you know, after working all day. I lay in bed and I binge Netflix for a couple hours, and all of a sudden it's 3 a.m. So why do we do this? We often behave in this way because we feel as if we may be missing out on fun activities or relaxation during a long, busy day. And a few behaviors associated with revenge bedtime procrastination are a delay in going to sleep that reduces total sleep time, absence of a valid reason for staying up later, such as an event to attend, and an awareness that delaying one's bedtime could lead to negative consequences. And so we came up with a couple tips to give yourself more leisure time during a busy day. and or setting and sticking to a bedtime. So our first tip is incorporating rest and relaxation time into your daily calendar. So for example, I'm a person that Google Calendar runs my life. So if you set up like blocks of time during your days, set aside just for, I want to relax during this time, or I want to use this time for a hobby that I find fun or relaxing. It can sort of let you incorporate your leisure time into your day. And our second tip is to set reasonable goals for your day, as in like not stretching yourself too thin. So setting these reasonable tasks and spreading big obligations over multiple days to keep yourself from overworking each day and into a long night. Try to avoid doing work or studying in bed late at night. If you're able to, keep your laptop away, because sometimes we can get carried away and all of a sudden we're studying into the early hours of the morning and then we can't sleep. And so we decide to, browse the internet or watch TV, and all of a sudden it's the sun's coming up. And our last tip is to try to incorporate a nightly routine to relax and unwind. So allowing yourself a self-care routine beginning at the same time every night allows your mind to go into a bedtime or relaxation mindset.
Yeah, and I wanted to add about the first point about incorporating rest and relaxation times into your calendar. This is a practice that I think I started doing during fall quarter. Like, I made sure if I had a class that ends at like 1, I'm gonna need 1 hour break for just myself to just like relax before I go into like the next meeting or like a work shift or a club meeting. Like telling people like, hey, I see, like, if I get out at 1 and they're like, oh, I see you're free at 1. Do you want to meet at 1? I'm like, no, we can meet at 2 because I need that hour for myself to, like, take that break. Like, we really need to do that because it's so exhausting to go from, like, you're sitting here and you have section and you're like, wait, I can meet at 1:30, but I'm like, no, let me meet at 2. So I feel like I started doing that, and in that hour I like clean my room. I'll like do the dishes, get some lunch, watch a TV show, like journal for a bit. I have cats in my backyard that visit. They're like stray cats. I'll go play with them, like, something to take my mind off of like, oh, I just had class, like let me go into work or something. Like if you're able to do that, I highly recommend. It will kind of stretch out your day longer, but I think it's worth it if that means that you can have an hour or two break every single day rather than just being like go 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 all the time. Like Yesenia said, like setting those kind of boundaries with time and space. And then saying no is really important too. So yeah, just wanted to add that. Next slide.
So next we're gonna go into a Padlet activity. I'll be dropping the link in the chat, as well as sharing my screen in a few moments. Some of the like the questions we wanted to ask y'all, you can answer anonymously on the Padlet, or you can type them in the chat and we'll add them for you. What are some ways in which you've behaved in a way considered to be revenge bedtime procrastination? What are some ways in which you've felt productivity shame? And what kinds of words of advice do you have for others on these topics and how to combat them? So you can add your own personal tips, etc. And I'll be pausing the recording.
Appreciate it. And next I wanted to talk about this worksheet that one of my professors told me about. Really happy that she did this. It's called Designing Your Life, and I will explain a little bit. So thinking about your life and like your commitments and your investments in time as like a dashboard of fuel gauges where that measures the 4 core facets of your life. So health, work, love, and play. Each of these areas are so important to like live a full, happy, meaningful existence. And it's really important to like take inventory of these areas and make sure we're not neglecting one part of our life for the other. Like we don't want to be neglecting our health and our wellness over like the sake of work and studying. Like remembering to put yourself first as like a human being, if it's possible, if you're able to. So a little more about this. There's gonna be a worksheet that I'm gonna send out in the link so everyone has access to. You can feel free to like print it out, color it in, like doodle on it, annotate it, up to you. But so first, you're gonna start by filling out. Here, let me go back to the slide. Okay, so keeping up this little dashboard image in mind. So you fill in your dashboard as it currently exists and using the guidelines to determine how to like measure up each category. What do you observe about your life? Where are you doing a good job? Where are some words that you can improve? And then like formulate small changes that you would like to bring those gauges closer to where it ought to be. How would you change your life? How can you re-envision it? And I just added little pictures for work, play, and love. And this is what the worksheet is gonna look like. I'm gonna take a moment to send it to you all, but first you mark your dashboard as it currently exists, where you try to be like super honest with yourself and like put it out there where it's like, oh, this is what it looks like, and if I'm not happy with it, what are ways that I can like reroute and improve? What do you observe and are you being fair? If you can make one incremental adjustment, where would it be? And if you could attain this revised like end goal level, how would it like change your life for you? So that is a worksheet. What incremental change would you attempt to move in this direction? What would it take for you to live this way for 2 weeks? I like how it gives you that timeline. Like for 2 weeks, try to invest more time in like love and health over like work, if you're able to, like things like that. Let me just check what our next slide is. Okay, yeah. So I will let Brianna share screen now so that way I can send this link in the chat for everyone. And yeah, that way I can send it out.
Sorry, give me one moment. I didn't have the slides pulled up.
Oh, okay. Or I can pull them up again really quickly. I just needed to get the link for the worksheet. Okay, hopefully that will work. And here, I'll just share my screen again for the presentation. Oh, here it is. Okay. Here we go. All right, and now closing.
Yeah, so lastly, we just wanted to do a recap of everything we spoke on because we just gave y'all a ton of information. So productivity shame is the feelings of guilt after believing you've not accomplished enough in a day. And you can overcome these feelings by disconnecting self-worth from productivity or wearing it as a badge, as well as setting realistic goals and appreciating progress over achievement. And revenge bedtime procrastination is pushing back your bedtime and getting less sleep due to leaving leisure time until it's time for sleep. And you can overcome this by setting bedtime routines, setting realistic daytime goals, and allowing time in your day for relaxation and leisure. And then next we will be doing a raffle. So if you can please fill out the feedback form, I will drop that link in the chat.
Thank you.
Right here.
We're so excited to be able to do a raffle for you all. The form should take, we're gonna give everyone about like let's see, what time is it? Maybe like 5 or so minutes. Just give us like a thumbs up when you're able to like submit it, and then we can get started with the raffle. Oops. Or like feel free to give us a thumbs up when you like have been able to open it and like access it, and then another one when it is time. I'm gonna share some music in the meantime. Of like the world for everyone, but we're really happy that y'all were able to come out and hear some words of advice. So if you have any questions about anything we like discussed today, or if you want more resources, reach out to the EOP peer advisors via this email and the wellness program, and we will be sending everyone a follow-up email with like the presentation recording, the presentation slides, and links for all the different forms and like programs we talked about, like the PALs, the peer advisors drop-in form, like the wellness form, the form for like undocumented student services, like everything. We'll make sure to get that out to you all. And thank you. Have a wonderful day. I think that was, yeah.